After completing her Bachelor of Music degree and postgraduate certificate in education at the University of Ulster in 1993, Mairead Healy performed what was to be the first of many principal roles as Rosalia in West Side Story with Opera Northern Ireland and the Ulster Orchestra. She then spent 3 years working under the tutelage of teacher-director Michael Poynor within the Ulster Theatre Company, where she performed in productions of Godspell in 1994 and Grease in 1995. In 1996, Mairead performed the role of Julie Jordan in the Belfast Arts Theatre production of Carousel, which earned her the coveted Best Female Voice Award from the Association of Irish Musical Societies. Mairead can perform many different musical styles of folk, jazz, and musical theatre to opera and classical. As a fully qualified teacher with 20 years' experience, Mairead also enjoys passing on her knowledge and experience to the young people of Northern Ireland, having coached and prepared youngsters and adults alike for auditions and graded classical singing and musical theatre exams. And so it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the beautiful and wonderfully talented Irish classical crossover soprano, Mairead Healy. So in this episode of Artists in the Spotlight, we're very fortunate to have with us today classical crossover soprano, beautiful voice, beautiful lady from Ireland. Her name is Mairead Healy. I pronounced that correct?
Well, it's Mairead.
Mairead, and we practiced that. And we practiced that, and I still messed it up. I'm terrible.
It's fine.
Oh, my apologies. Okay, so we have with us Mairead.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Mairead Healy. Okay. I'm so embarrassed because, like I said, we practiced that and I still messed it up. Oh, my goodness.
It's a difficult one to get right. It really is. And it's a difficult one to spell, even if you're from Ireland sometimes.
So anyway, Mairead, thank you for taking the time and being with us. I really appreciate this.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a soprano from County Down in Ireland, and I've been singing for many years now, and just basically love to sing various different styles of song, but essentially I would be described as a classical soprano singer.
Yeah, I read that you also sing like jazz and some of the other genres.
Sure. I on my first album I had Gershwin songs. There was a Jerome Kern one there from a musical, and some Irish, one particular Irish folk song and an Irish classical song. So I sing lots of different styles, and I think it's important to be able to sing in various different styles of music.
But of all the styles of music that you sing, your preference is in the classical genre.
Yes, as I said, it's important to be versatile, but I would say that I'm trained as a classical soprano. Sure.
Now you've been singing for quite a while, as I heard you mention earlier.
Yep, I started singing basically when I was very young, and my dad handed me a guitar. And I decided I wanted to learn to play the guitar. And whenever you're learning, you have to be able to sing along with it. So I got introduced to a lot of different styles of playing. And for instance, John Denver, I remember singing a lot of his material because his music lent itself very much to the 3-chord structure and anything from the Beatles even. And then I went to study at university, and that's where I really became interested in the classical style of singing.
Right. It's funny that you mentioned John Denver. I used to listen to John Denver, back in the early 1970s. In the early 70s, I was in the military. I was living in West Virginia, and I was stationed in Kentucky. So I'd drive to West Virginia maybe once every, 2 months or 3 months. But I remember listening and singing along with him, Take Me Home, Country Road.
Oh, yes.
So you mentioned him, and it just brought back memories.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love this music very much. Still do.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a big fan.
Mhm.
So you graduated from the university in a degree in music, right?
Sure.
And then from there you began working in musical theater.
Sure. Quite accidentally, I had hoped to take some time to study to be a teacher of music, and for some reason, I ended up not getting a place on the course. So I thought, what am I going to do with myself for a year? And I ended up finding myself working for Opera Northern Ireland, and the various musical theatre companies then really employed me to play leading lady roles in their shows. So I had really great time playing principal roles in some of my favourite musicals. So it really started a love for me for musical theatre and essentially really for performing on the stage.
And how long were you performing in musical theater?
Oh, for many years. And at one time, I was doing it while teaching as well. So I had a lot on my plate. But yeah, I've performed leading roles in many musical theatre productions. Really enjoy it.
And now you're working with children and teaching?
I do. I continue to sing professionally, but also I'm a qualified music teacher and singing teacher. So I work with young people and teach them music, but also offer singing lessons to young people and adults alike and help them to get through classical singing examinations and musical theatre examinations. So yeah, I'm pretty busy.
What's a musical theater examination?
Well, over here, I'm not sure if it's the same in the US, but we would have graded examinations for classical music, starting from grade one up to grade eight. But it would be the same for musical theatre, and a child would have to perform, or an adult would have to perform maybe three musical theatre pieces, and they have to basically take on the character and perform the song in role, which is essentially what we need to do when we're performing in musical theatre. So it's graded examinations right up to grade eight, and maybe people or teachers or sorry, children or young people who want to go into a career in musical theatre or study it at a college would want to have those examinations to get them access.
So, I mean, it must be really wonderful because you have all that beautiful experience of performing in musical theaters, playing, many different roles for many different great plays. And now you have that opportunity to pass that on to the next generation.
Absolutely, and I love working with young people, and I get a lot of satisfaction with working with young people. But I'm very lucky also that I'm actually actively singing myself as well, and I know that my pupils look up to me in that regard because they know that I do have and still gaining more practical experience as a performer and as a recording artist as well.
Now, speaking of recording artists, you first did your first album, a few
Mhm.
years ago. It was called The Last Rose of Summer, right?
Well, the album was called I Have a Love, and the piece that I know we're going to feature is called The Last Rose of Summer. Yes, it was one of the tracks from the album.
So tell me about that song. It seems to be one of your favorites.
It is one of my favorites. A lot of the tracks on the album were very orchestral, being from Gershwin and musical theatre, but I really loved this one in particular because it's really essentially a live recording, and it's just myself and a harper, Janet Harbinson, and I had toured with the Irish Harp Orchestra through Ireland and through Scotland, and she actually wrote a piece for my a 2 hour work with my solo voice featured. And I really loved working with the harp. And I asked her, would you come along and play with me in a couple of tracks in my album? And the result was this Last Rose of Summer. Normally, I would say we performed with the piano, classical piano style, but I loved her style of playing. And as I say, it was very much a live performance between the two of us. And I love the song, I love the melody, and I love what we did with it together.
Oh, well, great. I'll tell you what, why don't we play it now and share it with everyone?
Sure, absolutely.
Fantastic. Here is Mairead Healy with The Last Rose of Summer. Is that an Irish tune? What's the history behind the music? Is this something that your friend wrote?
Oh no, this isn't what she wrote. No, this is a I think it's from an opera called Martha, but it's become kind of a more old standard Irish melody, really, classical Irish melody. It's very old and very classic.
I thought I've heard it before. I've heard the tune,
Sure.
before. That's why I'm thinking, oh, this is, very Irish. I've heard that.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. I mean,
It's actually one of Moore's melodies. I think that's Scottish, really, actually. Originally, I couldn't be sure, but I know it's Gaelic.